The combat update had introduced some bad stuff, but it had at least introduced, well, stuff. But most people, when thinking about the Frostburn update, leave it there. It just didn't have enough content, that's why it failed. But I think there's more to it than that, and so today, we're going to break down why the Frostburn update failed, and what that means for us today. My name is MacLeod, I really hope you enjoy this video. Let's get started with the first mistake that Minecraft version 1.10 made. The first issue with the Frostburn update is the one that leads to all the others. It was directionless. I mean, look at the name. 1.9 was called the Combat Update. It focused on combat, weirdly enough. 1.11 was the Exploration Update. It worked with the exploration mechanics. 1.12 was the World of Colour. Not my favourite update, but it's pretty obvious what it set out to do. But the Frostburn update? What? So the official theme of this update, the shallow reason that Mojang gave, was that it was focused on hot and cold biomes. Now, this is true. Kind of. It added some features to the tundras and snowy taigas, like polar bears and strays, and it added husks to the deserts and magma to the nether. So you might be thinking, well, Magma Melon, it obviously did have a direction. Maybe not a good one, but it was there. Well, no. A direction is not the same as a theme. I mean, look at an update like version 1.3. It added, get this, emeralds, ender chests, golden apples, wooden slabs, tripwires, desert villages, and books. Now, that's a good selection of features, but it doesn't look like it has a direction. It just looks like a bunch of random items. But although it doesn't have a theme, it's pretty obvious that the direction of this update was just that, filling in the gaps. Trading was added to give villagers functionality, and building had been a bit lacking, so some slabs and stairs were added. Even though those features aren't super closely linked, the direction is pretty obvious, upgrading older systems that had fallen behind after the game's release. Now, let's look back at 1.10. It has a theme, yes, but what is its purpose? Does it have a meaningful purpose or goal? No. It truly is a bunch of random features, which have no link other than that some of them appear in the same places. Polar bears, when you think about it, have nothing to do with strays except that they share a habitat, and netherwart blocks have nothing to do with anything, really. This is the issue here. Most of these features were added because why not? And if you think I'm exaggerating, the only reason that polar bears were added was because Jeb's wife wanted him to, and when he called their kid Bjorn, which is the Swedish for bear, he felt compelled. Now, don't get me wrong, that's adorable, but it isn't the way to plan a cohesive update. This update lacked direction, and that is its first and most fatal flaw. The features of the Frostburn updates aren't only directionless, they're unimportant. Look through these features for a second. They're all really niche, obscure, and rare. But most importantly, they have very little relevance to the player's journey. You can have the most directionless update in the world, but if it has really useful features, it's saved. But even in a long playthrough of Minecraft, very few of these features are going to make even the briefest of appearances. Polar bears and husks both do nothing, strays drop slowness arrows I guess, but they aren't exactly the most useful in PvE. Fossils are really rare, red nether bricks are forgotten by most Minecraft players on a daily basis, and zombie villages are useless and generate only 2% of the time. Lame. The most used features in here are magma, which has some use in farms, and auto jump, which we're all a bit too familiar with for our own good, I think. I guess taiga villages are useful, but no more than the others. There was very little reason to add them before 1.14 rolled around. My point is that of the measly 12 new features introduced to survival mode this update, 10 are almost completely irrelevant. And when an update introduces 2 worthwhile new features, you know it sucks. The combat update had its problems, but by my count, it gave us 15 relevant features, with a few more on the side which aren't as important, but nice to have. Mad. The third reason that the Frostburn update sucked was because of the variants. Mob variants, structure variants, variants of everything. No new systems, nothing simple but easy for players to play with in a complex way, and certainly nothing remotely interesting after a few weeks. This update lacked originality, and it was in fact super lazy. Normally, I'm hesitant to use the word lazy, even if I don't much like an update. 1.12, for example, the World of Colour update, I personally think was very underwhelming. The Horse update of 1.6, kind of the same story. But at their worst, they border on lazy. The reason that I call 1.10 downright lazy, though, is because of this. Mojang couldn't be bothered to make new mobs, so they said, we'll make a new kind of zombie which looks different. And just so the player base can't complain, we'll make it so that they can't burn in sunlight. And they give you the hunger effect when they hit you. Any experienced coder, I reckon, could achieve that result from the base zombie in a day. Same with strays, the only effort that went into these things was making them look different. It's the same with the structures. Forget adding an abandoned crypt, let's make a Badlands mineshaft where, get this, it generates dark oak wood instead of normal oak wood. Wow, we are so original. But we can do better, let's add the Tiger Village, which has spruce wood rather than oak wood. Get it, guys? Because spruces in tigers? Wow, we are the future of this game. If I can be serious for just a moment, I genuinely cannot believe that the same people worked on this as worked on the jaw-dropping 1.13, 1.14, 1.16. I understand that the Frostburn update was always intended to be on the smaller side, since it was rolled out a few months after 1.9, but if those kind of deadlines are going to lead to lazy content like this, the deadlines have to be changed. 1.15 is a perfect example of another smaller update that actually fixed a lot behind the scenes, and despite not having that many features, clearly had work put into it. The Frostburn update's third problem is that it is completely unoriginal. Some of you might be sitting there a bit worried. I mean, I've talked about an update that has no defined theme, doesn't change the game in a meaningful way, and isn't made up of original ideas. Some would say that sounds an awful lot like 1.20, the update that is right around the corner for Minecraft this year. So, is 1.20 repeating history? Well, I'm definitely going to be making at least one video on the update once it drops, but let me say this for now. Remember what I said in the first section. A direction is not the same as a theme. Yes, at Minecraft Live 1.20 didn't even have a name for itself, but that is what lets me sleep soundly at night. The fact that they didn't give it a name based on a theme really quickly, but rather described the general direction of what they're going for, making Minecraft more Minecrafty, showed that they weren't rushing into a stupid pigeonhole such as hot and cold biomes. Yes, some could argue the features aren't super related, but they do have a consistent feeling of depth behind them, and although I was a bit skeptical in an early video, and had good reason to be at the time, I think that these features are looking a lot better than they did at Minecraft Live. They're also pretty original. The only variants we've seen so far are wood types, which by the way is a kind of variant I'm a bit more keen for. The only place where 1.20 falls down is in relevance to the player. There are some features like camels and rafts that probably won't be used much in survival mode after the first few weeks of release. That said, there are plenty of features that will be used in building. The sniffer concept is expandable and a great way to add new plants, and although I have my doubts about archaeology in its current form, it's a new and original system that doesn't rely on older features to prop it up. 1.20 has its flaws, but it is not even close to a repeat of 1.10. In conclusion, the Frostburn update sucked. It had no direction, no relevance, and no originality. However, things were soon to move forward for Minecraft. Despite a further blip with 1.12, 1.13 really picked up the pace and brought Minecraft back into public attention, showing what Minecraft updates could be like. I really enjoyed making this video, and I might make more about other Minecraft updates in the future. If you want to catch those or my other content, make sure to subscribe. My name is MagmaMelon, and I hope you have a really great day.